You know, in the pharmaceutical world, the line between a safe medicine and a dangerous one often comes down to one single powerful idea: quality. But what does that word really mean? Well, today, we're going to dig into how the answer to that question has completely changed an entire industry.
Seems like a pretty simple question, right? But trust me, the way we answer that now compared to how we used to, it's been a total game changer for medicine. It goes so much deeper than just what's inside the bottle.
See, for decades, the industry was on this path that seemed straightforward, but it was actually pretty fragile. And that old approach, it eventually shattered under pressure, which forced a complete revolution in thinking, a shift from just checking boxes to building a continuous loop of improvement.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit. Let's go back to the beginning. For a very long time, quality was all about the paperwork. We're talking a world built on documents, records, and just binders and binders full of procedures.
Think about it like this. The main goal wasn't actually about being high quality 24/7. Nope, it was about looking good on inspection day. If you had all your standard operating procedures, your SOPs signed, sealed, and delivered, and all your records were filed away neatly, you passed. Quality was treated like a checklist, not a culture.
Yeah, this table right here, it just lays it all out, plain and simple. The two completely different worlds. The traditional approach was totally reactive. A problem would pop up, and then you'd scramble to figure it out. The one and only goal was just being ready for an inspection. But the modern approach, it's all proactive, focused on the entire system with the goal of always being in control.
So if everybody had their paperwork perfectly in order, everything should have been fine, right? Well, not so much. The industry, and especially the regulators, started to see this really disturbing trend. The cracks were definitely starting to show.
And that's the thing. On the surface, everything looked perfect. Companies had these immaculate records, SOPs for every tiny task you could imagine. By all the old standards, they were totally compliant. But, just like with an iceberg, the real danger was all the stuff hidden just beneath the surface.
Because even with all that pristine paperwork, the real-world failures just wouldn't stop. Regulators were seeing the same issues again and again. You had recurring deviations from the supposed procedures, entire batches of medicine that were failing quality tests, and yikes, even massive, costly product recalls. The paper looked great, but the products? Not so much.
And that was the big aha moment, the light bulb that changed the entire game. It became crystal clear. You can have the most beautifully written procedures in the world, but they're basically useless if the system for actually doing them is broken. It's not about what you say you do on paper. It's about what you actually do day in and day out.
So out of this whole mess, this crisis of confidence, a brand new philosophy was born, one that was designed to manage quality in a holistic, totally integrated way, the Pharmaceutical Quality System, or PQS for short.
Now, a PQS isn't just another binder collecting dust on a shelf. No way. It's a living, breathing system. And the two magic words here are proactive and risk-based. Instead of just waiting around for something to fail, a PQS is designed to look ahead, to anticipate risks, and to stop problems before they even start. It's all about continuous control and constant improvement.
Okay, so this right here, this is basically the engine of the PQS. It shows you how all the pieces are connected. So say a deviation from a process happens, right? That kicks off what's called a CAPA, which is just a fancy way of saying corrective and preventive action to find and fix the root cause. Any changes to the system are carefully controlled, and all this data is constantly reviewed by management to keep making things better. It's a beautiful closed loop, not just a bunch of separate boxes to check off.
And this wasn't just some passing trend, oh no. This new way of thinking quickly became the gold standard all around the world. Major international guidelines like ICH Q10, which basically gets everyone in Europe, Japan, and the US on the same page, made this systems-focused approach mandatory. Now, you have to prove you have a system that ensures quality all the time, not just when the inspector shows up. All right, so let's bring all this home. As we wrap up, what's the single most important idea to take away from this whole evolution? It really all comes down to a massive, fundamental shift in perspective.
Just look at the difference here. The old way of thinking was all about, hey, is our paperwork ready for the audit? But the new mindset asks a totally different question. Is our system making sure we have quality right now, this very second? It's moving from that reactive let's fix it when it breaks mentality to a proactive culture of let's make sure it never breaks in the first place.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? You just can't cram for quality. Sure, scrambling to get ready for an inspection might get you a passing grade for now, but it's not going to stop things from failing down the line. The only way to get real, sustainable compliance, the kind that actually keeps patients safe, is with a strong, living system. And that leaves us with one final, crucial question. And honestly, this applies way beyond just the pharmaceutical industry. Where is your focus really? Is it all about preparing for the test? Or is it about building a system that guarantees you're doing things right every single day? The answer to that question, well, it changes everything.